Why, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Truly Odd podcast, where we bring you the latest in game news and movie news. I am your host, Joe Garcia. So grab your controllers, get your popcorn, and let's go ahead and dive right on into these topics, shall we? Starting with our game news topics of the day. And our first game news topic of the day is a rumor, so take what I say with a bit of a grain of salt. So, it's currently rumored that Halo 2 and 3 will be getting the remake treatment after campaign evolved. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article from Game Rant, shall we? Following the official review of Halo Campaign Evolve, leaks suggest that Halo 2 and 3 will also receive the campaign only remake with modern mechanics like sprinting. PvP multiplayer is reportedly absent from the remake despite fans of Halo 2 and 3's iconic online mode, though co op may still be included. And I honestly think this makes a lot of sense. It just makes no sense to stop at number one. You know, we all know that part two and part three are out there. So it just makes sense for them to continue into the two and three. And the main reason for that being is that you have all the assets from creating this in Unreal Engine 5. So now that it's been developed in Unreal Engine, they have all the assets for the first game. Before it gets too far away from this game release, you have all the graphics, everything you need, so you can really utilize these assets and incorporate new things from the multiplayer game, like what is it called, dual wielding your weapons and stuff like that. So it just makes sense for them to continue into Halo 2 and Halo 3. But I feel like they're going to probably wait to see how successful it is. I think they'll start early development. I don't necessarily think they're going to go into full production of it until we see how this game does. I think it makes sense for them to do this because I feel like this remake is going to be very successful for the campaign. So I think it makes sense for them to just jump into it right away. I know a lot of people were hoping that they would have do a Halo 1, 2, and 3 remake all together all at once, but I think it makes sense for them to kind of break it up into three different games because of how in depth of a remake they're ending up doing. Anyways, some additional details, which I'm pretty sure everyone knows by now, but future Halo titles, including the rumored Halo 7, are going to be launching on the PlayStation platform. Excuse me, broadening the franchise's reach beyond Xbox. So yeah, guys, what do you guys think of Halo 2 and 3 remake possibly happening after Campaign Evolved? I'm curious if it's going to stick with the title Campaign Evolved 2, Campaign Evolved 3 and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it makes sense for them to continue now that they have all these assets and everything already developed and for a continuation of the game. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. All right, guys, that being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next game news topic of the day. And our next game news topic of the day is regarding Nintendo Switch 2 breaks records with 10.36 million units sold in just 6 months. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article from IGN. So, according to this article, Switch 2 has sold 10.36 million units in 6 months, doubling the original Switch's debut and surpassing PS5's launch pace. Um, Mario Kart World leads with 9.57 million copies sold, with Donkey Kong Bonanza and Pokemon Legends Z through A um, showing strong early performance. The original Switch is just 10,000 units shy of overtaking the Nintendo DS, with projections suggesting it will reach 156 million lifetime sales by March of 2026. I just think it's interesting that they'll be continuing selling new Switches as the Switch 2 is already out, so I think that's pretty cool. But this makes a lot of sense. You know, this is kind of my go-to example of why Xbox is kind of failing at the most part. Like, the fact that Nintendo has just Nintendo games. You can't get Mario anywhere else. You can't get Donkey Kong anywhere else. You can't really get Pokemon anywhere else but on the Switch consoles. And that exclusivity is the reason that the Switch is selling so well with over 10.36 million units. Xbox really needs to take notes. And that's funny that I'm saying this because we just talked about Campaign Evolved and how that's going to be coming to the PlayStation, with other Halo games possibly coming to PlayStation as well. But proof is in the pudding. Having exclusive games and exclusivity with great content is really what's needed for, for your consoles to sell so well. And Xbox is just failing miserably at that, sadly. And it probably already lost the war at this case, if you want to call it a console war or whatever. I would just like for them to come back and come back strong, because I feel that competition really is important in the video game industry. And if we lose Xbox, Sony's just gonna probably make bad decisions because they don't have no competition. I mean, look at what Nintendo's done. Nintendo's not really made the best of decisions. They're still doing good because they have to compete with PlayStation and Xbox as far as like look and stuff like that. But as long as there's some competition, that's beneficial. But right now, I don't know what Xbox is doing. But congratulations to the Nintendo Switch 2. I'm sure it's going to surpass the Switch's sales if it keeps up at this rate. But let me know what you guys think of this in the comments down below. Have you guys bought a Switch 2, and how much have you been enjoying it? Me personally, haven't gotten it yet. Maybe this holiday. Maybe we'll have to wait and see. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, guys. That being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next game news topic of the day. And our next game news topic of the day is regarding Battlefield 6's map size. Has sparked some debate amongst fans analyzing, revealing shrinking scale for Battlefield. Let's go ahead and take a look here, guys. So, just for example, here's an image of a lot of the different game sizes from Battlefield 4, Battlefield 6, Hardline, and so on and so forth. If you guys are interested, this article will be in the description down below if you want a full scale of what's happening here. Excuse me, guys. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and take a look here at this article and more of the breakdown if you guys are very interested in seeing what the actual scale breakdown is. Anyways, that being said, guys, let me read to you guys some of the details going on. Reddit user Claire the Red and Penguin on PC analyzed 72 maps across 6 Battlefield titles, revealing that Battlefield 6 lacks any maps in the franchise's top 20 for size. While players defend the current offerings, others criticize the smaller layout, especially as Battlefield 6's larger map, Operation Firestorm, ranks only 32nd in playable area. I think that means how big. 32nd out of the biggest possible out of all the Battlefield maps. Anyway, Season 1 has introduced a new map with Blackwell Fields and Eastwood, while Battlefield RedSec Front Linden. Jesus, I can't fucking read today. Anyways, a specific battle royale map is touted as the biggest yet. But I get what they're saying as far as maps. You don't really want to compare a battle royale map to the other maps that they've had originally for the Battlefield games. It just makes no sense because those aren't or battle royale maps itself. But I think it makes sense for the maps to shrink, and let me explain why. With the scale of what Battlefield used to be, I kind of want to shrink it because you're competing with games like Call of Duty and stuff that have very small maps. The interaction between fighting is like instant. The minute you turn a corner or another corner, you could be coming across an enemy. Whereas Battlefield, the original games, you would have a wide variety of maps before you have any type of interaction with other players. Now, I think that was the most appealing part of Battlefield originally when it first came out. But over time and over years, you want to shrink that to have the engagement be faster between players and stuff like that. So that's kind of why I think the maps over years have shrunk to have better engagement, better mapping, better so on and so forth, things like that. However, I do feel that Battlefield really needs to go back to that bigger scale with modern things like that. People like sniping, people like this. I think having a wider map and a wider field to play with is more fun. I know a lot of people are enjoying more of the bigger maps in Battlefield. It's more entertaining to play on those ones. But the smaller maps do have their place. But we're just going to have to wait and see what ends up happening. I do think it's interesting that people took 72 maps across all 6 different titles to analyze them. But it's pretty interesting. Fans get very entertaining. So if you're going to tell them that you have very large maps, they're going to fucking call you on your shit. So that's pretty funny that ended up happening. But let me know what you guys think. Do you enjoy the Battlefield 6 maps? Do you wish that they were larger like the 72 other maps prior? Or are you okay with where it's at currently? Let me know what you guys think. Alright guys, that being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next game news topic of the day. And our next game news topic of the day is regarding Rockstar is being accused of union busting after layoffs ahead of Grand Theft Auto 6 launch. So if you don't know what union busting is, it's basically when a company attempts to prevent workers from unionizing or starting some type of organization of that sort, whether that be firing them through HR, whether that be firing them for falsified reasons and things like that. But that's basically what union busting is. Basically just getting rid of the problem players, if wanting to start something like that, I guess you can say. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article from Game Informer. So, according to this article, the Independent Workers Union of Great Britain claims that Rockstar Games laid off over 30 to 40 employees involved in union organizing, calling it a blatant act of union busting. Rockstar and Take-Two deny the allegations. Take-Two Interactive states the dismissals were due to gross misconduct, not union activity, and support Rockstar's handling of the situation. The Independent Workers Union of Great Britain has not confirmed whether it will pursue judicial action as the controversy unfolds ahead of Grand Theft Auto 6's May 2026 release. And I don't know if they're going to take judicial action because they're going to have to find out if there was gross misconduct. Now, there's no additional details that I found about what these people have done or what they've been accused of as far as gross misconduct. But the question is, what type of gross misconduct is it? Is it gross misconduct because they organized with other employees to go against what the company wants to do as far as unionization? Or is it gross misconduct because they were making inappropriate actions with female employees or anything of that sort? So there's a lot of different questions as to what gross misconduct is referring to for these 40 to 30 employees, but I do think it's interesting that 30 to 40 employees have gross misconduct as they're being accused of union busting. I very much doubt that 40 people are doing gross misconduct unless all 40 of these people were on a group chat or a group message and started really just talking shit and just really being foul towards other employees, or things of that sort, and then they got caught up on an email or something, who knows, or someone in the group reported them. So who knows what ended up happening here. We'll see if we get more details regarding this, but if they are accused of union busting, that is not looking good for Rockstar, especially as the game industry is attempting to unionize little by little. So we'll see what ends up happening with this story, but it's not looking good for them. And I think it's surprising that you had layoffs at Rockstar when they've been spending over $2 to $3 billion developing the Grand Theft Auto 6 game. So, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening, but let me know what you guys think of this in the comments down below. Do you think they're union busting, or do you think something else is going on down here? Let me know what you guys think. Alright guys, that being said, and we're going to continue to talk about Grand Theft Auto here. So Dan Horace, who is I believe the former lead at Rockstar, explains why Grand Theft Auto will stay in the United States as it is inherent to the IP. So I'm going to tell you what he said, and I'm going to tell you the real reason why it will not leave the United States as far as like the fictional version of the United States in Grand Theft Auto. But according to this article from IGN, hold on, did they change it? I think they changed the page. Whatever, I'm going to bring up this image for you guys. Anyways, former Rockstar lead Dan Houser says that the franchise is deep... Forgive me if you hear the noise in the background. I have family over and they're watching horror movies. And right now it's a very loud part of the movie. I think you can only hear it if I talk, which kind of sucks. So I'm going to get a little closer to the mic so you guys can hear me. Anyways, former Rockstar lead Dan Houser says the franchise is deeply rooted in American culture, making international settings feel incompatible with its tone and gameplay. Set in the fictional U.S. state of Lonita, and upcoming installment maintain the series' satire lens of American life. As seen in the trailer, GTA's portrayal of the U.S. is so influential that the University of Tennessee will have a professor teach a college course on the historical and cultural relevance in 2026. I don't know why they're going to be doing that, but whatever. I guess it's very relevant to the portrayal of U.S. So according to this, the reason it won't is because it's just so inherent in the culture. Bullshit. I'll tell you why it's bullshit. The reason it'll never leave the US and it will never take place in like Japan or like London or like New Zealand or anywhere else in the world is simply because we have freedom of speech. And simply because if you set a Grand Theft Auto game like this in London, in wherever, they won't publish it there. They won't be allowed to. The government will stop it. It's as easy as that. Knowing that the U.S. is free to, portray U.S. citizens as gunslinging criminals and things of that sort, we don't care. We don't view things of that way. Whereas other countries and other cultures will prevent that from happening and not be interested. There's a lot of different rules that different games need to follow depending on where they're going to be released. You will never see a game like this happen in China. And if you guys think I'm wrong, point to a modern niche game that is like that. And by modernish, I mean within the past, we'll say 20 years. Show me a game in the past 20 years that is like Grand Theft Auto that takes place anywhere else but the United States. I don't think you'll come across it. And if I'm mistaken, I would love to be proven wrong. And mind you, by Grand Theft Auto, I mean everything like Grand Theft Auto, as far as like you're able to pick up hookers, you're able to go to a strip club, you're able to kill innocent people, you're able to steal people's cars, you're able to be a criminal, all the things you're able to do in Grand Theft Auto. Now, mind you, I know a lot of games can't have that kind of scale, but something similar. Show me a game and I'll be very interested in seeing what that game is, and I'll be stand wrong. But right now, I think that's the reason. So yeah, you will never see a game like Grand Theft Auto leave the United States. But let me know what you guys think of this in the comments down below. Do you disagree with me? Do you feel that it is capable of being set anywhere else? I mean, there is Yakuza Like a Dragon and stuff like that, so those games are very good. So, but let me know. I feel the Grand Theft Auto is more gritty than, not gritty, but what's the word I'm looking for? More open or more realistic as far as Yakuza Like a Dragon. There's more anime based things, but let me know what you guys think. I don't think Yakuza Like a Dragon is anything like Grand Theft Auto personally, but I could be wrong. So tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, guys. That being said, oh wait, that does it for our game news topics of the day. We're gonna go ahead and move over to our movie news topics. And our first movie news topic of the day is regarding Japan's Toho Studios revealed the next Godzilla movie titled Godzilla Minus Zero. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article from The Hollywood Reporter. And here is the image with Godzilla Minus Zero. Toho Studios unveils Godzilla Minus Zero as the follow-up for Minus One. And it will be directed by the director Tashaki Yamazaki will be returning. Forgive me if I'm butchering his name, I probably am. Anyways, the film teaser arts hint at a darker tone with production set to begin in New Zealand and Norway ahead of a late 2026 global release. Minus One earned over 113 million and won an Oscar for visual effects, setting the stage for Minus Zero to expand the franchise's prestige and scale. And here, wait, it doesn't have the teaser in the article. My apologies, guys. But go ahead and look up the teaser and you'll see what they mean by the art aspect. I think this is awesome that they're going to be making another Godzilla movie next to Godzilla Minus One. Hold on, guys. That's getting really loud. I'm going to put myself on mute real quick, and I'm keeping this in. I don't care. So it's going to stay in, but give me a second. I'm going to tell them to turn it down a bit. All right, that's staying in. I don't care. Anyways, we're moving on. Let's go ahead and move over to our next movie news topic of the day. They're watching Hereditary, by the way, so I think it's right now at the part in the car. If you haven't seen Hereditary, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about if you have seen it. Anyways, guys. Oh, shit. I'm on the wrong thing. Whatever. We're doing it live. Fuck it. Our next... You know what? I already clicked on it. Let's just show you guys. Screw it. And our next movie news topic of the day is regarding Pete Davidson and Ellen Purn are set to star in a romantic comedy called The Time We Met. Let's go ahead and break it down for you guys. The film follows a new couple. Jesus, really leaving and coming back throws you off mentally, you know? Anyways, the film follows a new couple after their disastrous first date when they quickly come to dislike each other. The unexpected twist is that they soon discover they have an unborn child that is fated to save humanity, or the future of humanity. The film is going to be directed by Nick Lemberman and written by Michael Winke. The project will be shipped to the American film market by WME Independent. So yeah, guys, I think this is good. Pete Davidson, I'm not a real big fan of his. I don't know why he's so popular, but he is a bit funny sometimes. But I do like Ella Purnell, however you pronounce her name, in Fallout. I think she does phenomenal work there, and so I would love to see her in a bit of a romantic comedy. This sounds pretty interesting. It sounds more like a what if Sarah Connor found out John Connor was the father of a dude she didn't like. So I like that premise, and I think it's going to be pretty funny. But let me know what you guys think. Does this movie sound interesting to you, and would you guys like to see it? All right, guys. That being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next movie news topic of the day. And our next movie news topic is regarding the following. Daisy Ridley is set to star as ICU nurse turned MMA fighter in a true story called Killa B. Let's go ahead and take a look here. So Daisy Ridley will portray Brianna Tyron. Oh no, Bryani. However you pronounce her second name. Tyron, a Southampton ICU nurse and mother of two who becomes a top MMA fighter while balancing life in the NHS. I don't know what the hell that stands for. Anyways, directed by Keaton Oxley and written by Ruth Sewell, the film begins production in Q2 of 2026 with Brianna, however the fuck you pronounce the name, Tyrell, actively consulting on the project. Daisy Ridley calls Tyron's journey as one of extraordinary courage and resilience, which I also think that's pretty freaking awesome that she was able to not only be an ICU nurse, take care of two kids, but become a fucking MMA fighter. That's absolutely phenomenal and absolutely awesome that she was capable of doing that. But the interesting thing about this project is twofold. One, Daisy Ridley is supposed to be doing a Ray movie, and supposedly that was supposed to start filming in sometime in 2026. Now I'm not sure if that was Q1, Q2. I know they only need actors for maybe a month or two, maybe 3, depending on the size of the project. So I'm curious as to if they're going to have to delay the production of Star Wars. I don't think they have anything on the calendar to get filming going in Q1 of 2026. So let's just say it is Q2 of 2026 when Star Wars. I don't know if she'll have time to do both films. So there's that aspect of this story where we probably won't be seeing this Daisy Ridley Ray Star Wars movie at all after something like this happens. But the other aspect of this is we recently had the Smashing Machine just completely fail at the box office. And that starred one of the best movie stars in the world, or one of the biggest movie stars in the world, with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So I'm curious if anyone would be interested in seeing a movie like this. So I'm not sure what the budget's going to be for this film, or what. Just a lot of screaming going on in this movie right now, guys. I'm not sure if there's going to be a lot of issues with, what was I saying? Issues with the budget and things like that. So I'm not sure if anyone's going to really be interested in seeing a movie like this. So let me know what you guys think. Does this sound more interesting to you than the Smashing Machines? Even I didn't go out and see the Smashing Machine, and I love going to watch movies all the time. But let me know if this is a movie you guys would see over the Smashing Machine. Sadly, I probably wouldn't, but maybe I would. The Smashing Machine trailers didn't really capture me. Maybe these trailers could be better. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, guys. That being said, let's go ahead and move over to our next movie news topic. And our next movie news topic is regarding a rumor. So take what I say with a grain of salt, of course. As Avengers Doomsday trailer description reveals a dark and tragic take on Doctor Doom, described as a tragic universal monster. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article from Geek Tyrant, which I think is the person. I'm not sure. I never heard of Geek Tyrant till right now, but I've heard about this, so I was very curious about this. Anyways, let me break to you guys down some of the details. A first look of Avengers Doomsday could debut before the year's end, possibly ahead of Avatar: Fire and Ash, with substantial footage of Doctor Doom, according to this leak. The leak description says that Robert Downey Jr.'s Victor Von Doom will not only appear significantly in the footage, but will also have a will also be played like a tragic figure. Jesus, my dyslexia is kicking in. Likened onto Phantom of the Opera and Darth Vader, which he will be utilizing his armor to survive, kind of how Darth Vader does, which I think is a very interesting take on the character. The interpretation marks a dramatic shift from Downey Jr.'s Stark, suggesting that Avengers Doomsday will explore darker and more complex themes within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's also some more details regarding the description of this. They're saying how he has a broken body here, as you can see here. So I'm very curious as to what could have led to this. I'm curious if this version of so my biggest fear. I'm kind of rambling right now, but my apologies. But my biggest fear when it comes to this is Doctor Doom should be his own character, should have been raised as Doctor Doom. I don't want him to be Tony Stark that decided to change his name into Victor Von Doom because of something that happened. I want this Doctor Doom to grow up as Doctor Doom, maybe even have the same lifestyle as Tony Stark and stuff like that with Pepper Potts and stuff like that, and then maybe something like Ultron happens, something like Thanos happens, something happens, and they fail, and he gets hurt and he gets damaged, and now he has to use his suit as life support, and then he lets the nanotechnology take over his body, and then he learns some stuff from Doctor Strange, and then he becomes this person. I'm totally fine with that, but I think that kind of throws it off from being Victor Von Doom. It's too much like Tony Stark. I really hope that he's the leader of Latveria and really has like just I'm okay with the tragic backstory. Maybe someone took over his country. Maybe there was a war. There's a bunch of cool things you can do with a Victor Von Doom character, even if it is being portrayed by Robert Downey Jr. I'm just fearing that they're going to have him be Tony Stark and then turn him into Victor Von Doom. But besides that aspect of it, having him have a tragic backstory and comparing him to a universal monster is very, very interesting and very entertaining. I think you can really, really do that well. A lot of the best villains in fiction are villains that you can, possibly agree with. Villains that don't necessarily look at themselves as the villain can be the best villains in movies. No villain in movies, at least none of the great villains, are just pure evil. Even though I think you can do that, it's just really hard to do that and portray that into film. You always have to give them some type of understanding, some type of tragic backstory to really get people involved in what they have going on. So I'm okay with someone like Doctor Doom having a story like that. It makes sense for Doctor Doom to have a story like that. Not Doctor Doom isn't just pure evil, even though some characters like I would say Null from Venom should be like that, just pure evil for no fucking reason. But yeah, I'm very curious what they're going to end up turning out to this, and I hope this description is true because having even in just a trailer, having Doctor Doom come off as a Universal Monster tragic backstory is awesome for a first trailer. It's going to really introduce this new version of Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom and really put him in the forefront of the advertisement and of the movie. And I think that's really good for a movie like this. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Does this sound interesting to you guys? Do you guys like the idea of him being portrayed as a Universal Monster movie with a tragic backstory? Or were you hoping for more of just the big bad just to be big bad? Let me know what you guys think. All right, guys, that being said, we're going to move over to our last movie news topic of the day. And our last movie news topic of the day is going to continue with the Avengers Doomsday talk, but this time we're going to be discussing Famke Jenkins hasn't heard from Disney about Jean Grey returning to Avengers Doomsday. So there's been a lot of rumors going around that Famke Jenkins will be portraying Jean Grey since we got a lot of the other X-Men stars returning, but it doesn't look like that's the case according to this article. Let's go ahead and take a look. Famke Jenkins says she's never ever spoken to Disney about reprising Jean Grey. This, despite ongoing fan interest and frequent interview questions. Famke Jenkins reflected on the character's lasting impact, expressing gratitude that Jean Grey continues to resonate with audiences 25 years later. While Famke Jenkins remains sidelined, few X-Men actors, including Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Rebecca Romijn, are confirmed for Avengers Doomsday, released on December 18th, 2026. And, I think this kind of, how do I say this? I think it kind of makes sense for her not to be included. Now, Jean Grey is a powerful, and I mean powerful character with having not only her own abilities, but having the Phoenix Force also involved. And I think having her included in a movie like this might throw things off because she can be her own big bad, or she can stop Doctor Doom if she needed to. Maybe they can have it be in a way where she kind of fights Doctor Doom and Doctor Doom overpowers her and kills her. There's a lot of ways that they could do it. But Famke Jenkins as an actress, sadly over the years, kind of has fallen out of the limelight. She continues to do projects like TV shows and stuff like that, but her star has kind of dwindled over the years, sad to say. So I don't think people are very interested in seeing her return. And also, she was kind of part in the main face of probably the one of the worst X-Men movies, which is X-Men: The Last Stand. Not a lot of people like that. So I just think it doesn't make sense for them to join her. Now, mind you, she might be lying and doing an Andrew Garfield and just lying to us, and she might be part of the movie. But I think she's telling the truth personally. And with everything we got going on with Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Rebecca Romaine, and oh my god, what's his name? Cyclops. Damn it, James Marsden. I think it just makes sense for them to kind of sideline her for the now being, but who knows? We still got Secret Wars and things like that coming out, so anything can happen. But I think this makes sense. But let me know what you guys think. Were you hoping to see the return of Jean Grey, played by Famke Jenkins, or do you think it makes sense for them to kind of sideline her for a movie like this? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, guys. Thank you so much and bearing with me with all the stuff happens live, stuff happens live, you can't help it. Anyways, but thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe, and always remember, guys, stay true, be odd.